right, guys, here with another episode of Trader Confidential. We're doing question and answer time again. Seems like people are liking that, so we got a bunch of questions again, and we're gonna see how many we can answer.
Yep.
How you doing tonight, Donnie?
Doing all right. How you guys doing?
All right.
Good.
Snow outside, so that's cool. At least right now until it starts
Yeah.
getting already started getting wet and crappy, but anyway. So we'll start off this well, I'm gonna start off actually with these ones first. Uh I was thinking of doing a meal replacement a couple times a day. Any recommendations?
You know, not so when she says a meal replacement, well, I guess she's talking about a shake, or you can okay.
drink.
So a good, and I think one of the things that people get mixed up between meal replacements and protein powders and stuff is that a protein powder, pure protein powder, is going to have primarily protein. It's going to be very little carbs in it. Like
Carbs, yeah.
like what I do right now, I have like 3 grams of carbs in mine and stuff. Whereas a meal replacement shake is more balanced. It may have 20 grams of protein, but it's probably gonna have like 30 some odd grams of carbs. It's just gonna be nice and balanced. If they're doing it for the convenience of it, I can see that. You see what I'm saying? If their lifestyle is just so busy that they can't get in, all the meals that they need to get in, and so that's one way of ensuring that you can do that. I don't have a particular meal replacement, that I'm thinking of, because I don't really use them that much, but I would say to be a good meal replacement it's got to have a decent amount of it's probably a little carb heavier than protein. It's probably got 20 grams of protein, maybe about 35-40 grams of carbs, and maybe a little lower in fat and stuff. Also, what they can do, just throwing this out there, is you could take an actual protein powder, maybe add juice or some carbohydrate polymer to it and stuff, and you can get a meal replacement shake that way. But I don't have any recommendations, but it just all stems on why they're doing it. If they're doing it because they feel that that's going to give them an advantage, not so much. I mean, it's a supplementation, but if you don't have the time to get all your meals in and you need to get that meal in, oh yeah, it's perfect for that.
Well, this person just says that they want to simplify things. So I'm guessing it's time.
Yes, that's one way to simplify it.
Yeah. I mean, my call on it is I think 2 protein drinks a day is fine, but I think food is better.
Yeah, and I do 2 shakes, and mainly I'm between clients and stuff, and hey, I can take that shake, I can wolf it down. And the thing about it is this: I use a short container, I fill it with half water, 2 scoops with half that container of water and stuff, and that way I can just get it down real quick.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do. Yeah, I get it.
So, I mean, on this note, I watched a video, I don't know, a couple days ago or something like that, of this guy. I don't know if he's a competitive bodybuilder, but he's got muscles. He's into fitness and stuff.
Yeah.
And he drank nothing but protein powder every meal for a whole week.
Really?
Yeah. And he's kept his protein at the same, whatever he's taken before with the food.
Mm-hmm.
He had no energy. Like guy felt like crap, and he lost, what was it, 20 pounds? I think 10 pounds. He lost 10 pounds in a week.
He was probably underdoing it in the calories, as a scoop of protein averages between 120 and 150, somewhere just as low as 100 calories. And it just depends on how many scoops he was doing a day. It was probably, I wouldn't think it was so much just he was doing pure protein. It's just that I think his calories were just too low.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Because you got what was it? Was it what's his name? Oh, he was drinking shakes with Rice Krispies in it. Got a lot of flack for it too. Oh, what's that guy? Hunter Labrada.
Oh yeah, Hunter.
Remember, he was drinking like 3 of his meals out of the day was just protein powder and Rice Krispies ground up in it. And I mean, Hunter Labrada looks great. Like he's genetically gifted.
As unorthodox as that may sound and stuff, what do you think you have to do as body, whether you're a competitor or not, or just somebody that's got some decent sense? I mean, you look at the individual, you know what I mean? If the individual's looking phenomenal, it's like, you're like, this isn't going to work. But apparently it's working for you.
Yeah. So doesn't mean it's going to work for you though.
Yeah, right. It's I guess it's working. We're going to find out in about 2-3 weeks, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we will. Yeah. Speaking of which, you get my text about Ramy. He's 315 pounds right
Yeah,
now.
I saw YouTube on him.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Like
I saw YouTube on.
he's gonna be
And here's the
untouchable.
deal. Think about it. Think about it. You know, they were talking about how many cows you think he takes in a day?
4,500 is what they said.
Yeah, 4,500, you know,
Yeah.
and that brings me back to that African proverb, you know, what is it? You can stuff a zebra and starve an elephant, but a zebra is still a zebra and an elephant is still an elephant.
You're
That's
right.
how,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Rami is
Yeah.
Rami, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, because they were surprised because his nutrition. You must watch the same video.
Yeah, I did.
Where his nutrition coach was talking, and you know people would think that he ate a lot more food. He really doesn't. I mean, it's still a lot of
And
food,
so
but
that works for him.
it works
Okay,
for him. Yeah, yeah,
you know, but you know, you know, it's just like Dexter in reverse. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You
yeah,
know, because Dexter's metabolism is so high, you know, he can do things that most bodybuilders can't do and stuff.
yeah,
Like he does very little cardio when he's getting shredded, you know,
yeah,
and he does very little cardio and stuff, you know.
yeah,
People like that can get away with it. It's just like Ramy, as big as he is, at 300 pounds, and he's eating under 5,000 calories.
yeah. That's crazy. So, all right, we got off topic a little
Hey,
bit there.
we just get back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to say that because that just blew my mind. He was 285 last year at the last Olympia. That's a huge difference. Okay, anyway, so next one, let's see here. Oh, you read this one. Nicole's there.
So I'm still waiting on my weight drops to happen. It's been about 3 weeks, so I picked up extra at-home exercises, and my muscles actually started to get sore, which is ironic. But it'll start happening now, LOL. So
Okay,
she's
so I've got a client. So I think what a lot of people got to understand is the scale only tells you part of the story.
that's what
You
I
know?
said. Yeah, right.
I got a client right now. You know, he's a morning client. And his name is Donnie, and he's.
Cute.
Remember, we said it takes three things: intensity, consistency, and time. You know, and Donnie was getting impatient because the scale wasn't moving. I tried to keep
Right.
thinking, the scale only tells you part of the story. And I says, well, how your clothes fitting? Well, I'm down 2 pant sizes. You know, well, where's your belt at? Well, I'm on my second belt. You know,
Yeah,
people, they get so caught up in that scale, they got to look at and they don't look at the other parameters. They don't look at the other markers that are letting you know, hey, look, you're moving forward. You know,
yeah,
with this person, you know, they plateaued, but from the scale they have, I would like to know, you know, what size were you wearing about 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
How are your clothes fitting? You know, and generally, how are you feeling in general? Because fitness manifests itself from the inside out. Okay, you're gonna feel long before you see.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet you if you were to do blood work right now, his blood work would be a complete 360 to where it was when he started, in terms of cholesterol, in terms of A1C, in terms of blood pressure, whole 9 yards. You know,
Yeah.
so. But and one of the things people have to understand, plateaus are a part of it. You know, you are going to plateau. Okay. All right. And so what I'd like to know now is I heard what he was saying with his eating and stuff, but at some point, you know, he's gonna have to do one or two things, you know, either pick up his cardio or pull some
drop some food. Yeah,
or a combination of both. And it doesn't have to be a lot, you know, just a little bit, just keep it nudging and just have some patience and keep going. That's the hardest part right there. The hardest part is even the act itself, because he's doing that. The hard part is doing it long enough, you know. And sometimes, you know, people they're looking for that visual so much, and the visual is the last thing to come in, and they quit, not realizing, looking at all the other telltale signs that they've been moving along. They've been all along, because it manifests from the inside out, not the outside in.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. That is a huge problem with people, I think, too. Yeah, you're right about that. I got another plateau question actually. So this person reached a plateau with their strength training. How do I pass that plateau? So
Okay.
I'm assuming they're trying to power lift and stuff like that. And I got definitely got my answers on this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
so let's just take the bench for instance. Okay. Now you got to start getting some rack work. You know what I mean? I need to find out where his stick point is. Did he mention anything about his stick point?
that's another question coming up.
Okay,
No,
all right. Okay.
this person
So
didn't,
yeah,
but
so I'm probably going to be addressing that second question
yep,
too.
yep.
But if I'm going to be getting if I'm training for strength, you know, like I used to back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, I'm going to do rack work.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do the rack work. Now, let's say squats. Let's say at the time I'm squatting 315 and I need to get that squat up, And so what I'd do is I'd probably set the bar for about 3/4 of my distance on the squat, 3/4 of the way up, and I'll probably put on an extra 20 pounds, so 320, and I would do, just rounds of 320 pounds. And over time, I would add about another 20 pounds. And just that little, just getting the body used to handling the weight.
That's what it is. That's
And
exactly what
then
it is.
drop the peg down a little bit, and then the next session, and then start at 320 again. And that next thing you know, you're doing about 360, 370, close to 4, but you're not doing full reps, but your body is getting accustomed to handling the weight and just continue to drop those pegs down, and you're just doing partials. And then I'd say by the time you get close to the bottom, you're probably doing that, I would say, with pretty good form and stuff, And then, on the fifth day, you just do a raw squat, like you would always do and stuff, and you're going to find if you do that 315 that you would normally do, it's going to be a lot lighter because of the previous 3-4 weeks, you've been handling that heavy load and that's what your body's used to.
Yeah.
Partials with that power rack. That's what I would do. One of the
Yeah.
ways I got my bench up is doing that kind of stuff. Partial
I
reps.
think bands and chains work real well too.
Yeah, they do. Back when I was like in the power stuff, I was really into powerlifting stuff back in the mid 70s and early 80s and stuff. And that's you had Larry Pacifico and you had Ed Cohn and all those guys. That's when they were rocking and rolling and stuff. So
yeah. So she just got another question actually in
I
right
got
now.
one more. So they just want to know anything that'll bump the weight loss. So she picked up extra cardio and she's trying not to be impatient. So any ideas on how to get yourself to stay motivated to continue through the weeks with no show weight loss? So her muscles are finally starting to become sore, but other than that, she's not really seen anything else from it. So she's trying to get motivation. So how do you get motivation?
How long has she been doing it?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Couple weeks, yeah.
So, like I tell most people, those 3 things: intensity, consistency, and time. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And so she's got to train intense enough to get what she wants to get. She has to do it consistently enough, and she's got to do it long enough. And right now, her deal is long enough. So she apparently her goal is she's within eyesight of it. So like she's wanting to get this done in a few weeks. So as opposed to, I would just like for her to say, okay, how am I going to look this time next year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because that goal's
yeah.
That
Because
goal is what's going to keep you on track. It's nothing else but that goal.
Her runway is so short right now. She's only been at 3 weeks. Okay. In 3 weeks, what's going to happen in 3 weeks is a lot is going to happen from the inside out. She's probably feeling different. She's probably feeling better, getting around a lot better, and there's other telltale signs. Maybe her clothes are fitting a little bit different, And like I said before, the scale only tells you part of the story.
Right.
Which is why I have my clients, whenever they weigh in, on their weigh-in mornings, they have a pair of jeans or a pair of pants standing right next to the scale. So when you get on the scale, they try on the jeans.
Good idea.
If the jeans go down and the scale goes down, that's good. Okay.
Right.
If the jeans fit better and the scale stays the same, that's still good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that can happen. Okay. Especially if she's training pretty consistently. Okay. You get that composition conversion going on. Okay. Yeah. So that's what she's got to stay on point. I would just ask a series of questions. How are your clothes fitting? You know, how are you feeling? You know, and then we'll see if we're making those other changes. Then I would say may not want to put too much stock in the scale now, you know, because you got other internal stuff that's going on, you know, and then you just follow through. But the thing about it is this: I like to know what her runway is. What is she thinking about? This isn't one of these things where, you know, you can do it for a short period of time, and you stop, and you're going to stay where you are.
Right.
You know, and the reason I can say where you feel you're going to be a year from now is because you got to do this way beyond that.
Mhm.
You know?
True.
Yeah, and with the scale, what muscle weighs more than fat? I mean, if you're working hard and your nutrition's right, you're building muscle and burning fat.
Right. And
So
I know
that scale ain't gonna really move much at first.
yeah, I think what you meant to say was is muscle is more dense than fat.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Because 5 pounds of muscle is 5 pounds of
Right.
muscle, five
It's the
pounds of
same
fat is
weight.
5 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 pounds of fat takes up this much space, 5 pounds of muscle takes up this much space.
Sure.
Which is why you can get two girls that weigh the same, okay, and the leaner girl is gonna be wearing the smaller sizes, even though they
Yeah.
weigh the same weight, same height. Leaner girl is like 2, 3 sizes smaller
Yeah.
than the heavier, and then the fatter girl. You
Yeah.
know?
I think that's the big thing to be said though, is that fact that I mean you're building muscle right now too. So you know that scale as of now,
Right.
especially in
Yeah.
the beginning, it might not move.
So and it's also going to be depend on how consistent she is with the training and stuff,
Yeah, sure.
and also the eating. And what I like to tell a lot of my clients is especially when I get them dialed in, and that training is pretty, and you have to gradually work them into that. But that training is getting to a level where they start realizing, you know, I mean, I got to make sure my eating's on point, because you know, without that training is not going to work. And I tell them, you know, the training gets you the results, but the food fuels the training, you know.
Right.
So you got that daisy chain, you know. In order to make it work, you have to that eating's got to be on point, and they'll get to the point where they'll realize it towards the middle of the workout. They're like, "Wow, okay, I see what you're talking about."
There's a question that has to do with that too.
Okay, all right, hey, shoot.
Okay, so actually that's the next question. Do you need to eat in the morning before a workout? I'm assuming that they get up and they go to the gym in the morning.
And that's gonna depend, you know, that, you know, so she's got to kind of find out for herself and stuff, or himself. You know, me personally speaking, I can train any time, you know, during the day, but my preferred time is like it's in the early afternoon, like 2 o'clock. You
Mhm.
know, 2 o'clock early. I think that's perfect for me and stuff. But I can train at night, or I can train, you know, earlier in the morning. I prefer 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
but yeah. So this person, of course you can, you know, give it a shot. You know, maybe some people it's just their rhythms, you know, the body thrives on rhythm. And it just may not work for some people. It just
You
doesn't.
you may not have the strength you're looking for without no fuel
Yeah, you know,
in the morning.
but you know me, I like to, and you're right. But well, you're right about that, because typically I have a meal about 2 hours before I train. I can't get any closer than that, because the way I train and stuff. I mean, I get sick, but but you got to have some meals in you. You know, I do, and I know you do. And so this person, you know, they may they just I think they just got to experiment with it.
Yeah.
Some
But you
people
don't-
really don't need that much. I would say probably in this person's part, because she's been fasting through sleep. I don't know how many hours I'm gonna assume she sleeps about 6 hours. So she gets up, you know, it's 6 hours no food. You know, I think she needs to have maybe a little something. You know, it would be light. It'd probably be more carb centric. You
Yeah.
know, and
That's what I would suggest.
that would be a good time for meal replacement shake.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, because it's going to be doing
Yeah.
the same thing. But I
Right,
mean,
and
otherwise, you're
yeah,
just burning glycogen
right,
and
it's gonna
fat
it's
at
gonna
that point anyway. So it's a
but
fat burning time.
yeah, but it's a lot lighter. The body's gonna absorb it a lot quicker.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying? The body doesn't
yeah,
have to break it down or anything like that and stuff. You know,
that's right.
it's just
Yeah.
a quick hit. She gets up at 6. She's got to be at the gym at 7. You know, take a meal replacement shake. You know, and
One of my things that I do if I don't have time, like before I got to train, is I'll have 2 scoops of protein, and then I'll throw a couple cups of rice in the blender and make that a drink. So and that works pretty well for me. I can go, I can go immediately to the gym and I'm not bloated. I'm not, not going to get sick and nothing like that. That works for me. If I'd rather have a meal, but if I don't have time, that works for me and it's
Right.
quick
And
too. So
that's the element right there is we
yeah,
have time for
and I always got rice in the fridge, so for me it works.
it.
Okay, so how often should you practice posing? That's a good question.
So especially the mandatories, I do it even now, and as I'll when I get up in the morning, and typically that's when you look the best is in the morning. I mean, I'll go through the mandatories and stuff, So those are the poses we really need to get down. You need to find out where your strong poses and your weak poses are, and it gives you a chance to take a look at all that stuff, You can never do too much posing. You
I
can't.
agree with that. Yeah.
Now when I'm in prep, I do posing every morning, and I think I spent probably about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes on it. But I'm going primarily through the mandatories,
Yeah.
So, but and then you got posing coaches that are around and stuff, and you can, yeah, and if somebody's really new at it, I would highly suggest that they get a posing coach, go in and at least pick their brains a little bit and stuff, I
Yeah.
see, I see too many, I see too many amateurs on stage and stuff, and the thing about they have great physiques and stuff, but they're
Yeah.
not presenting it the way they should,
Yeah.
and that could be a difference between first and third place,
Yeah.
or
Totally. And
seventh
and
or ninth.
on that note, I think it's a good idea while you're working out in between sets to pose a little bit. I think it gets you in a better mind muscle connection. If you don't have mind muscle connection, posing would help you get there quicker. I think, in my opinion, when you're doing your poses, so in between sets, do a couple poses, see how you look, and it's also you're exhausting the muscles still. So, if you're doing chest, throw in some, do some side chests and stuff like that every once in a while in between your workouts. And I think it'd help with mind muscle connection. I think for that purpose, I think would be a great idea.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I
okay.
agree.
So we got one more. I have a sticking point. I can't get the weight off my chest, but can't lock out with the heavyweight. So
So he's got a low
accessories.
he's got a low stick point.
Yeah, this is accessory. This is an accessory answer. Accessory
Yeah,
exercises.
yeah. Like I say, he's got a low set point. Everybody's set point is a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine is right at about halfway. That's typically my stick point. And so I would do rack work, set my rack for about half right at that stick point, and then I would just do reps from there, setting it down, coming out a hole. Not training, we're not thinking about the muscle now. Now,
Yeah.
okay, this is building, just trying to get stronger. So we're not thinking about muscles. And so, yeah, I would just do partials, and you're gonna from that point, you're gonna be able to handle more load. Let's say his bench is like 225. Okay. Well, doing partials just past that stick point, he should be able to go at least 255, 260, and
Yeah.
just finishing off with that. You see what I'm saying? It just that amount of movement. That's all it is. Right at that stick point, and then do that for about a couple of sets and stuff, and then lower it down one more peg and stuff. It's going to be a little bit harder. Try to push up with that same weight. And the thing about it is, he's not doing a full rep, but he's getting to that new weight. He's recruiting those fibers. Okay. And it's just a matter of time before he adapts to it. And next thing you know, he's just on a Olympic bench, and he's already like 275, close to 300. He's got to do some rack work, partials on the rack.
Yeah. I think close grip bench would be really helpful for that too. Just tricep push downs. I mean, I think at that point it's triceps are engaged. Once you get past that, so it's kind of a tricep thing, right?
Yeah, it's triceps, chest, and shoulders is what it is. And like I said, in order to lift heavier, you just got to train heavy.
Yeah.
And partials is the way to do it. And the power rack is perfect for that because you can set those pegs for any point in that movement. You know, you can go down to your stick point, find out where that stick point is, go slightly below it, you know, and then just start pushing or pulling from there, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and you're definitely right about that. You need to be adjusted to weight. Like if you can't just go pick up 500 pounds if you never picked it up before. The best thing to do would be to shrug 500 pounds or deadlift 500 pounds or just get it on your back one time. And then once your body gets, knows that, oh, this is 500 pounds. Now you have the option to lift 500 pounds. You know what I mean? Right. You can't just, you gotta adjust the body because it's a set. I mean, powerlifting is a lot of central nervous system, whereas bodybuilding isn't. I mean, it's you got to adjust that body to the stress of that weight because it's different muscle fibers in play and, and all that, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's because the first time you try to PR, and if you haven't done that rack training and stuff, if you haven't lifted that weight, because if you've done the rack work right, and you've addressed all your movements, all your, stick point, the top point, you've addressed all that with, heavier weight than you would normally do on a raw bench. And now, you say you were at 225, now you're going to look 250. When you get that off, well, you've been doing rack work with as high as almost 300 pounds, 3/4 of the way up. And you can push a person that strong should be able to take up about 300 pounds. You're lifting it like 2-3 inches, but you're recruiting all of those fibers in that meantime. You know what I mean? And then when you finally have to do a raw bench on it, I mean, let's say 275 is what you're going to do. You're at 225. That 275 is going to be almost anticlimactic because you've been doing training with much heavier weight. Okay, yeah, they're partials, but still, it's heavier weight.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the best program a guy would be? I mean, there's lots of strength programs out there, but I'm kind of a firm believer on the 2 weeks. You do 2 weeks. 5x5s. I'm really fond of 5x5s, and so 5x5s for 2 weeks, 5x3s for 2 weeks, 5x2s for 3 weeks, and then 5x1, and then you go for your max again. What do you think about that? What would be a good program, and how long should you stick with it?
Well, once again, I mean, the program, the concept is sound. I mean, you still have, as long as it's addressing intensity, consistency, and time, it really doesn't matter what the program is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If you're doing it, intense enough, if you're doing it consistent enough and doing it long enough, the method, and like I said, it's a solid method. A lot of people do it, and they do it for a reason, but any program that has those 3 elements to it, they're good to go.
Yeah, you're right about that. It takes time, and you have all 3 of those.
It does.
All it is when it comes to powerlifting, bodybuilding. I don't care what kind of fitness it is. It's all those 3 things right there. That's it.
That's it. Intensity, consistency, and time. That's it. I don't care whether you're doing squats or you're flipping tires or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. But too many people get hung up with like the scale. They get hung up with the scale. They hung up on plateaus. They get hung up, and mainly it's people are getting hung up on the time part. And they don't give things enough time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean,
that's the biggest thing. But I think you got a sign on in your office says something about what little progress is still progress or something like that.
Progress, still progress. People stop because they feel that they're not making the progress is slow, but progress is progress. And
it's just like you said, it's all starting from the inside out.
Right, and
you don't see the shiny stuff until the end. And that's the thing. If this is not an instant gratification sport at all.
But hopefully, but the thing about it is this: I think a lot of people, the really successful ones, okay, the training isn't necessarily the hard part. The training is they really like doing it. You know what I mean? they enjoy training. So that's going to make that makes the time almost irrelevant. You know what I mean?
True.
You know, it's like one of those things where people come by and say, "Oh man, hey, you look. Oh, by the way, you look like you lost a lot of weight." And done it, you know, they may be a little surprised themselves because they're so into the training, you know, that other people see it. Other people remind them, you know, hey, look,
Yeah.
you look fantastic. What are you doing? This, that, and the other, and stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
I noticed just even my clients, you know, they there's no time to, they just come in and they enjoy the workout. And it's
Yeah.
almost like the results is a perk,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and
That's what we
that's
want.
just it. Because we all love this, and we do it because we love it. I mean,
Right.
and that changes everything. I mean, the hang-ups after that is diet. Are you eating right? Are you all the time that you're not in the gym? Those are usually the hang-ups for a person that likes to be in the gym.
Yeah.
But there's people don't like to be in the gym, and for them, I mean, how do you get motivation for those people? It has to be goals. It has to be long-term goals, like what you said.
Yeah, you know,
And that's the only thing.
they got to have their why, and that's one reason why I asked, you know, in my health assessments with folks and stuff, because I do it. We talk about it. We go one-on-one. And I asked, you know, I mean, what are you looking to accomplish within the next 12 weeks? You know, and so, you know, that why is the incentive is everything and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, they have the incentive has to be strong enough, you know. I mean, I've had some people I've had a couple come in, and the guy was the one who actually came in to see me. The wife was just tagging along, but in 6 months, the guy was gone, and the wife stayed with me and for another 3 years, you know, and she looked fantastic at the end.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta give it time.
Yeah.
You gotta give it time, intensity, consistency, and time.
Yeah.
You know. And 12 weeks can get you quite a 12 weeks will get you a long way, but you still got to maintain it. You just can't.
Yeah.
It's not like a hairdresser, you know. You get the hair done and stuff, you know, like $1 million, and well, you got to go back and do it again, you know. But
Yeah.
once you reach that goal, you got to maintain it. Okay, you acquired it, now you got to maintain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be one of those mindsets. Can you see yourself doing this the rest of your life? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good. Yeah.
And if you're gonna
Absolutely
have,
right about that.
yes, you're gonna have breaks. You know, you're gonna go on vacation. It's
Yeah.
not like you're gonna be doing.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
gonna miss
you're gonna be
days.
coming
Things
in
are
on
gonna
time.
happen.
Yeah, I got clients. I've had clients I've had for 20 years. You know, and come on, you know you're gonna have. There's gonna be breaks and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But the aggregate, the totality of it is, you know, you've been training for a long period of time, dude.
Yeah. 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 That's why that's why you're at where you're at right now.
And it shows. It shows.
It shows.
It shows.
Well, I think that wrapped it up for questions today.
Yeah, because Animal is out, boy. Woo! He is done. Look at
What's
him.
that?
He's
Oh,
been-
yeah.
He's been out since the beginning.
So you should have seen
Wow.
him. You should have seen him
He got
before this.
tired.
He's running up on this couch.
I was about to say
this
that
couch,
was my next
couch.
question. That was my next question. What was he doing?
Oh gosh.
When he gets tired, he gets more energy and he's all over the
Super
place. And then he just passes out.
Oh,
He can make all the noise in the world and he won't wake up. All right, Donnie, you have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow for training, yeah?
right. Yes, tomorrow. Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night, guys. And
All right, now.
next
all right,
week.
Jack.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Bye, guys.